Marami ng mga Pinoy na abogado, may ilan rin ng mga judges na matagumpay sa kanilang piniling propesyon. Ang ipapakilala namin sa inyo ngayon ay hindi lang matagumpay at matalino na judge. Siya ang first judge sa Northern California na na-appoint ni Governor Jerry Brown in 1983. Welcome to Pusong Pinoy, Judge Quidachay.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Did you actually aspire to be a judge when you were in law school?
Actually, I thought of becoming a lawyer when I was in high school. I didn't think of becoming a judge until I'd been a lawyer for a few years, and Alex Esclamado, who was the publisher of Philippine News at that time, he was trying to find candidates who would be eligible to be a judge. And I was one of the persons that was contacted saying, you know, we'd like you to be one of the candidates for judge.
Are there any cases, or at least one case, that stands out as a memorable case you've handled?
One that sort of sticks out in my mind, or it's kind of funny, a case where the gentleman didn't trust veterinarians, and because he didn't trust veterinarians, he decided to take care of the dog himself and operated on the dog.
And then?
And so he got prosecuted, and I presided over the case. And the reason it stands out in my mind is because the SPCA, you know, for animals, they had a cover, and the cover had a picture of the victim, which was the dog. And the dog had a bandage on his ear and had a bandage on his paw. And so that sort of sticks out in my mind, and the article mentioned me and the case and stuff like that. That was a long time ago, but I remember it because it was about the dog. And
so graphic too.
I know, it was.
Yeah, so the lesson too to our viewers is they should not start operating on their own dogs.
Do not operate on your dog. If you don't like the veterinarian, go to a different one. You know, go to a different one.
Okay, so I understand, Judge, that you grew up in Guam.
I did. It's interesting. When I was growing up, I actually thought I was half Chamorro or Guamanian and half Irish. Then when I came to go to college, back to California in 1964, I went to Daly City. And my father was living in Daly City, so was his brother, Uncle Phil, and that's when I first really learned I had all of these Filipino relatives. So I was 17 years old at the time. And since that time, I learned I was actually Filipino at birth. So I had nothing to do with my feeling.
Yes.
I had nothing to say about the fact that my mother married a Filipino.
Yeah, but when you went to San Francisco State University, and from what I know, it's that you were a student activist and an organizer of a Filipino movement there. Can you describe those activities? What motivated you to do those?
Well, at the time, there was a guy named Patrick Salavar. And Patrick would go around the campus, and he would be telling people, you're Filipino, and you're going to be a part of PACE, which stood for the Filipino American Collegiate Endeavor.
Yeah.
And so I joined the group at that time. And there were many issues at the time, learning about Philippine history, learning the language and culture. And that was one of the reasons that the organization was founded. And that was, as I said, founded probably about 1967.
So it's still existing up to this
time? Yes.
PACE
It is existed for a long
well,
time.
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
So you're one of the founders.
I am. I'm one of the co-founders. It was myself, Pat Salavar, Alex Soria, and Bob Aluman.
Yeah.
We were the four original founders of the group.
So for our viewers who have heard you and were inspired by you, do you have any message to them or any word of advice?
You need a commitment, and then you need a willingness to do it, and then make sure you do the work, no matter what your goal is.
Great, Judge.
Okay.
I think that's a very good one.
Yes, thank you.
I'd like to thank you for joining our Pusong Pinoy sa Amerika.
Okay, salamat.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Great.